My parents went to work, and the kids were at home, 6 of us, without milk or provisions for things for kids being home. So I went to the store. On the way up the street to the convenience store, was a blue van pulls up beside me. The man inside was very friendly and told me he had a job to do, and if I could help him, I could earn a few dollars in the process. The man told me his name was Pee Wee. I later found out that his name was Richard Osley. Every kid is warned about strangers. Don't get into cars with strangers. Be wary of strangers. But growing up out in the country, anyone in your neighborhood was a friend. We headed off in what I thought was going to be just around the corner, but we headed towards the interstate. And we kept going further and further, and I became more and more nervous. We traveled another 10 minutes or so, and it came to a snow-covered road. We got, I'd say about half a mile down this lane. We came to a clearing, and he stops and he points to a hill, just a little raised area. And in the ground was a little room built into this hill, 4 by 4 by 8 foot plywood box that he had built and buried in that hill. Osley got down into the box, and I handed him the groceries. He asked if I could come down to help him straighten out some things. There were some leaves and things in there, and so I got down into the box. We were straightening up a few things that were in there, kind of putting some things away, and then he tells me to stop. And then he looks me straight in the eye and he says, "I've got bad news for you. You've just been kidnapped." My blood ran cold. I became filled with fear. It was this feeling you get like when you've been caught in a lie almost. It was just this overcome with fear and adrenaline, and you start to sweat, and all I could think of was getting out of that box. I told him that I knew karate, and to try and make him as scared of me as I was of him, and he said, "Oh, you're scaring me," and then he jumped me and attacked me and pulled me to him. Within 10 minutes, I was stripped naked and raped for the first of 4 times that day. I had no idea that things like that could be done especially to me, and him forcing himself on me over and over and over again 4 times that day was humiliating. I thought about my family very much. What was going through my mother's mind? Would she be worried? Would she be crying? I think that bothered me more than anything, that my mother would be crying about me, that I was gone, and never to know what happened to me. We would go out at night, and it was much like a camping trip. We would set fires and cook our meals, and it was, at those times, he was very friendly, and It's like being on a camping trip with your uncle or your dad even. He was very nice. He was interesting to talk to. He had a lot of knowledge about carpentry in the woods, about Boy Scouts. He didn't usually want to rape me or have any sexual relations with me outside of the box. So being outside of the box was very, very important to me to get out. On the seventh day, Owsley decided on a scenario, announced in the afternoon that he was now going to leave me there and to call my mother. I was, very extremely happy that this was going to happen and very confident that he was going to follow through with it. Right before he was going to leave, he looked me in the eye and said, "I've got to have that one more time." He raped me for the last time and then put a chain around my ankle, fastening it with a lock, gathered his things, and left. I woke the next morning and I started to hear an engine and gears shifting. And I thought, that's my mother. My mother is here to come to get me, to rescue me, to take me home. I became so excited I could just stretch out with my leg behind me. I could reach up and open the top of the box and got my head just above the edge, and what I saw were two pickup trucks coming through the woods and just entering into the clearing. The miracle of this was that those four men decided not to go with the rest of their hunting club to another section of woods in another part of the state. If they had not been led to come to that very spot of woods, I feel that I would probably still be buried in that spot. My mother, never knowing what happened to her son, still chained inside that box. The trial really is sort of blurry to me almost. It was, I remember I was in the courtroom facing him, and he never looked at me. I had no fear of Owsley. I feared the things that he could do. I had no hate for Owsley. I still have no hate for him. I saw him as someone who was sick. I survived because God gave me the peace to be able to keep my mind, my wits about me. If there's anything that I could say to children who are being abused or who have been abused, to adults who were abused as children, is that you've done nothing wrong, that you have nothing to be ashamed of. As long as you keep it to yourself, they get away with what they've done, that they've not paid the price for what they've done to you. And you can take hope that there can be a life that you can live without that fear. You can live without that pain.